So continuing on with this series, which is kind of a, I guess, retrospective of all of the maps that we have in Call of Duty Zombies, which is a ton. So far we've done quite a few, but I don't think we're even halfway through yet. We've done maps like Verrucht, Shangri-La, Classified, but today what I want to talk about is a map that I would label was the one that almost killed Call of Duty Zombies. And if you look back on it now, that's crazy to say because in my opinion this is one of the best maps ever. Definitely in my top 5, in my top 3. On a certain day you could even call it my favourite Zombies map of all time, and I know for a fact that a lot of people agree with that. For most people this is one of the best Zombies maps ever, but I wouldn't be wrong to say that this map did almost kill COD Zombies. If you were around during the launch of BO3 you may know what I'm on about because when it first came out, it definitely wasn't loved. If you think of what Shadows of Evil includes, what it did for this series, it made it what it is now. But Zombies before this, BO2, BO1, World at War, it was a more simpler time. Because this was the first map on BO3, this was the map that introduced aliens, as we called them back then, or as we know them now to be the Apothicons and the Keepers. It also took Zombies from a level of simplicity to extremely complicated, you could say, especially for the storyline, but also Easter eggs and gameplay. This map included things such as the Beast, a very complex pack-a-punch system compared to what we're used to, weapons such as the sword, buildables, which were a big part of BO2 Zombies, but were also a massive part of BO3. This was, as we would call it, Jason Blundell's turn, and a lot of people hated it. I would even say me included. I bet if I go back on the channel, back to its release date, there are videos of me saying, what is this? Why are there aliens and zombies? What has this game mode turned into? Comparing that to what we have now in Vanguard Zombies, I don't think a year from now I'm going to be saying, actually, Vanguard Zombies was good, like I did with Shadows of Evil, but it was definitely something that we had to adjust to. Shadows of Evil was the beginning of what I think was some of the best changes in Zombies. This map had to start all of this. Without it, Rise and Draka wouldn't have been possible. We wouldn't have had Gorod Karovi, 2 extremely good maps, also Revelations, Sets of Onoshima, but Shadows of Evil I think was the kickstarter of all of this, of taking Zombies to the next level, and because of that, initially, people hated it. This map almost killed Zombies. So what I'm going to do, as with all of the maps in this series, is take a look at the main points of what makes a map, which is the gameplay, but also the Easter eggs and the storyline as well. As far as the gameplay side goes, because Shadows, as I've just mentioned, was the first map on BO3, it was the first map to introduce a ton of features that we'd later go on to see continue in the future. It means this map has so much in this category for us to talk about. Starting off with the wonder weapons, we had the Apothicon Servant, which is one of the best wonder weapons in Zombies, up there I would say with the Thunder Gun. To be honest, it's hard to think of a wonder weapon that is better. It's basically an Apothicon, as the name implies. It's not a weapon that would be built as such, it is a creature. When you shoot it, similar to the Ghost devices, it opens up a black hole. The zombies then get sucked inside and are killed instantly. So whatever round you're on, just like the Thunder Gun, this is a one-shot kill, which is why it's better than a lot of wonder weapons that we have in Zombies. And it was especially useful for this map just because of how tight it was. There was a lot of tight corridors, so if you did get trapped you could easily shoot this weapon and there was a high chance you would survive. I would say the only downside to it was you couldn't upgrade it on Shadows of Evil. This wouldn't usually be a problem, but because this weapon returned in Revelations and you could pack-a-punch it on that map, that version was better than the one that we have in Shadows. Although, to be honest, because it's extremely powerful anyway, you don't really need to upgrade it. And I suppose the other downside was it was a buildable, but still it wasn't too difficult to obtain. The other weapons, even though not wonder weapons, was the rocket shield. We have had shields in Zombies before, but the rocket shield was a little bit different. It had the regular melee attack, but it also had a burst function, which would launch players forward and knock any zombies in front of you away. Again, the only downside to this was compared to other shields, you actually couldn't plant it on the ground and use it as a distraction, which was useful in BO2, but just in my opinion, shields in any Zombies map, the main function of them is to just give you extra protection. Because we had so many weapons in this map, the next one was the Apothicon Sword. Not something I ever used too much on this map because you do have to do Easter egg steps in order to obtain it. However, you could upgrade it, which would then be called the Keeper Sword, or as some people call it, the Reborn Sword. At the end of the day, it was a good wonder weapon, but I just wish it was a little bit easier to obtain. I haven't used it enough for me to actually give a solid opinion on how good I thought it was, mainly because I haven't done it for such a long time, but it does look cool. One thing I can give more of an opinion on is the little Arnies. They are classed as tactical grenades in the game. Basically, it is a glass jar. Inside of it you can see a small tentacle creature, and when you throw it, this squid grows out of the jar, attracts any nearby zombies to it, and with its tentacles, it kills them instantly. The only things that it won't kill is the Mogwai, and also because it's available on other maps, it doesn't kill things such as the Panzer Soldats either. Is it the best compared to other weapons in its category, such as the Ghost device or the monkey bombs? Other weapons that attract and then kill the zombies? I would say so. I don't think it's any worse than the monkey bombs. The Ghost devices might be a little bit better, just because you can also use them to teleport, but it instantly kills zombies on any round, so yeah, it's something you are always going to want to have, and you can also upgrade them. And then the final thing I want to talk about in the weapons category, even though he's kind of not at the same time, is the Civil Protector. He is basically your robot bodyguard. You summon him and he will protect you against the zombies. Because he has a weapon which is the KN-44, he can also shoot down the parasites, and, which some people don't know, he also shoots off the heads of the Mogwai. But not only that, if you get down for say, he can revive you. So yeah, a very useful friend to have. He costs 2,000 points, which really isn't too much considering not only he can kill any enemy on the map, but also he can revive you and down you. So that is all for that category, but Shadows of Evil had a lot more to it. This was the only map in BO3 that introduced a new perk. That perk of course was Widow's Wine. For every map after this, we had no new perks that we hadn't seen before, and I do think Widow's Wine fits Shadows of Evil more than any other map. I think this is a very underrated perk just because I never really see people talking about it. It didn't return in BO4 or Cold War or Vanguard, and I don't see people asking for it either, and I always wonder why. It's an extremely clutch perk. I get it can be annoying sometimes, having the effect pop up on your screen, but essentially it saves your life. I don't know why anyone wouldn't want it. It costs 4,000 points. It has 4 different effects. The first one is that if you are hit by a zombie, you will then unleash a kind of web which will trap any zombies near it for about 20 seconds. Its second effect is it makes any grenade that you have become a sticky grenade. Essentially, frags become semtexes and stuff like that. Its third effect is because it affects your grenades. That's essentially how it works. Every time you get hit by a zombie, one of those grenades explodes, so it uses one. But you can refill your sticky grenades by picking up these blue kind of spiders that you find on the floor. So its third effect is that you can replenish your grenades easily. And the fourth one is if you knife zombies, there is also a chance that you freeze them with the webbing effect. Kind of similar to the Sword Flay Gobblegum. But the main one for me is that it saves your life. I don't know why you wouldn't want it. I've always thought it's one of the better perks in zombies. Shadows had 4 different bosses or alternate enemy types. These were the Mogwai, the Parasites, the Insanity Elements, or as you may know them, the Meatballs, and the Infected Keepers. Now, one of these, being the Mogwai, is without a doubt one of the coolest bosses in zombies. Yes, because of how tight this map is, having to shoot off his 3 heads can be annoying sometimes, but I just think the design of him, how he works, is very cool, and to be honest, he isn't that difficult to kill if you have pretty good aim. The Parasites are extremely annoying. I hate the fact that they come from the Mogwai's head when you shoot them off, and also they have their own round. One of the worst enemies in zombies. The Insanity Elements, or the Meatballs, are just weird. I always question why do they even exist, because they're not difficult, they're sort of annoying. What is the point of them? And then, of course, the Infected Keepers, they're more to do with the storyline. They're not really integrated that much into the map, but they are there. There was also the very, I would say, not complicated Pack-a-Punch system. It's not annoying like some maps where you have to find parts of the Pack-a-Punch machine in random locations around the map and then build it, but you've got to do 4 different rituals and then survive off against a small wave of enemies before you can access the Pack-a-Punch. Yeah, once you've done it a couple of times, it's simple. It's just more time consuming. And then the final few things in terms of gameplay. 1, the starting pistol on Shadows, the Bloodhound, something unique to this map. It's a welcome change, and I think it suits the time era that it takes place in. There is also the Harvest Pods, which are kind of similar to the dig spots in Origins, where you can get random rewards from them, like weapons, but also things such as zombies or grenades. There are 2 different transport systems, being the teleporters and the trams or the trains. Honestly, I don't really take the trains anywhere, although the rifts are quite useful. There is also the option to skip a few rounds on Shadows. As soon as you load into the game, you can shoot the Shadow Man, and you can go to round 5, 10, or I think round 15 as well. Maybe 20, I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. But skipping straight to round 5 off the bat can get rid of those first few boring rounds. And yeah, that's it. I'm not going to go through all of them, but Shadows of Evil contains a ton of Easter eggs, not mentioning the main one, the main quest, and then the boss fight with the Shadow Man. There are loads of little ones that can give you some good rewards. And then finally, for the story, one of my favourite things, one of the main reasons why I love this map is, well, the characters. Nero, Jessica, Floyd, Jack, Nero especially being played by Jeff, one of the best characters in zombies. That combined with the atmosphere already, the city, it's a beautiful map to look at. And then finally, obviously we have the cutscenes. The intro cutscene, again, one of the best looking ones in zombies, and the outro cutscene, us surprisingly seeing Richtofen come out of the rift and steal the summoning key, leaving our characters trapped in Mug City to die. There are so many reasons why this map is so good, and it's a joy saying that because at one time we all thought this was the map that was going to kill zombies, that was going to end it, but no. Here we are, years later, and it's considered one of the best. So, there we go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hopefully you've enjoyed the video today. If you have, drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.